All right, what you're looking at is the room. I don't have a cellar in this house. This house is a slab, and this is the master bedroom. And those boxes way off, the camera makes it look really far away, but those boxes over in the corner there, that's a new system. You can see on that chair that loose leaf binder, that little pad, that's going to stay with those boxes. And it lists what's in each box. And what's in those boxes are projects that I have finished and that I'm not throwing out. Now, going through the house, there's piles of stuff that's working its way to the garbage. I'm doing another big purge, and this room's got a lot of wacky stuff in it. Right over in there, there's a little fish tank and a bag of gravel. There's another bag of gravel off to the side. That's for the other fish tank to be rebuilt. But here's some of the radios I have. Let me check, see if they're in the frame. Yeah. Okay, those radios have all been repaired, and some of them are still apart because I do experiments with them. But there's command radios, there's a CNC machine, and in the foreground you might see some of my power tools. But I don't have a cellar, okay? This is how I have to do things. And then here's my CDs, a bin of CDs. I think it's in the frame. Let me check real quick. Yeah, one of the surviving ammo can radios is there. And behind me here, I have a closet. Those are all R71As in there that all work, or did work when they were put away. I have to get more realistic. Now, I do have the house set up so it can be cleared out within 2 hours. This is, in other words, to clean this house out if I die, this is the hardest room. Everything else is piece of cake. Everything else is organized. Everything else is in bins. Over in here, these are bins and parts. Everything's in flux right now. And I've been, what's really made things a little bit easier for me is I bought that desoldering unit that blows hot air. And I've been using that to quickly pull the better parts off circuit boards. And I throw out, I know I'm 70 years old, and realistically, I'm never going to get to stuff. Okay? I know what I've gotten to it. I've done the project. Now it's sitting there. Now I did have a guy come up one time from Delaware or down south there. He bought some radios for me, and he never come back here again because he said the amount of gas he spent to get up here, it wasn't worth it. It ate up the what they call the meat on the bone. In other words, he didn't even break even. So I tried to convince him to come up and buy some R71As, and he wanted them like for $75 each, and they go for about $250 broken on eBay. So they'll sit there, and when I die, I'll probably leave this stuff here to the Lancaster Ham Radio Club. I'll put it in my will. That's what I'm getting ready to do now. You know, at 70, that was my goal, to hit 70. I said I wasn't going to care. I started eating like really bad. I started gaining weight. And then now I sort of care again. That's because the guy I was walking with, he was diabetic, high blood pressure, and he'd walk real fast. I started getting a problem with my feet, a lot of blisters, because I was walking real fast with him. And then there was another guy that walked real fast. Well, both of them died. Okay, they're dead. And I'm getting my typical arrhythmia with my heart. I have benign arrhythmia, and all the stress of like the war and people dying in the neighborhood left and right. That's causing me to have palpitations more than normal. I get normal palpitations, but I said to myself, you know, let me get the stress out of my life. And some of the stress is the things you own that you know you're not going to get to. And I walk in this room, and it looks pretty unorganized right now. That's because I'm going through stuff. But I'll have a place for every one of these radios, okay? And even up on top there, I don't know if we could see. You know, I wish this camera had some type of a viewer on the back. Yeah, up on the top of that stack of radios there's that coil winder. That's got to come apart for parts or whatever. I build things, I get them done, and then now you have a monument to what you built. That's what it comes down to, like a little souvenir. And then you're not going to use the thing, and then you hang on to it. And then sometimes, if you're lucky, you'll come up with another project, and you'll rob parts off of it to build something else. And that helps out a lot, because then when you look at it, you see it's missing parts, and you're more likely to take it apart and put the parts away. See, I have bins and everything's labeled. It was just a matter of the things that I had built were starting to accumulate. And by using those boxes in that corner there, that's solving the problem. And if I want one of those things, I just look in this little booklet, and then I'll be able to just pull out the one box, open it up, take the thing out. Before, I didn't have the boxes labeled. And every time I wanted something, I went through all the boxes and made a mess. Okay, I didn't extend my bin design into my personal possessions, but I just want to show you that. And this isn't as bad, I know, as some other people have. And like I said, there's a closet behind me with the R71As. I got a bunch of super radios and the tools. All this is going to be neatly stacked in here, and then I'll have more room. But it's funny, you keep saying to yourself, I'm going to get to it, I'm going to get to it. Now, I watch the hoarders, I watch the pickers, where the guy goes to a person's house, and the guy's got so much crap he can't move. Okay, I've seen that. I've seen that up close. I had a guy I always tell you about in my neighborhood. He'd go away on vacation, and he'd require me to walk through his house every 2 days or more. And it was a pack rat. It was a hoarder. I had to walk through that house and make sure there were no leaks twice a day. And then when he was away and the meter reader would come over and ring my doorbell and have me go through with him to read the meters, because he was afraid the stuff was going to fall on him and he was going to get trapped there and die. And I've seen this stuff up close. But most of the stuff you're looking at right now, I bought since I got here. When I left New Jersey, I had a 9-foot by 12-foot pods. That's all I owned. And then as I got here, I retired, and then you start to get edgy, and you want to build something or work on something. And I bought, like, I think it's in the frame, the BC348. That's all been recapped. It's sitting on the top of its case. It runs on a dynamotor. Like in those boxes, I have dynamotors. Okay, and they're under parts for command radio. And I know if I need them, I know exactly what box they're going to be in. I'm not going to be digging through stuff for 2 hours, okay? And I don't really own that much stuff. That's because you don't see the piles going out to the garbage, okay? I am very aggressive when it comes to getting rid of extra stuff, But like I said, even there's a bag of gravel I'm looking at, and it's been sitting there. I ordered it. It took forever to get here. The local pet shops don't carry gravel anymore, so I had to order it online. Well, I should say they carry gravel, but it's not the type you grow plants in. It's the type you make it look beautiful. You know what I mean? The chipped glass and these different iridescent colors. And then the regular stuff, if you want it, they'll order it in for you, and then you got to go pick it up. Where if I just order it to my house, it saves a lot of problems. But it is what it is. But I got rid of a wine guard, the one that the antenna looks like a bed frame or a bed mattress frame. The inside of a mattress, and I think I paid like $50 for it. And it sat over here on this wall, right up in there, and I never used it. It was only for UHF, and I don't know why I bought it. It was always in the way. I took it outside several times on yard sales, and nobody wanted it. And then I took apart the wine guard one that goes on top of a camper. That's stored away now up in this closet, and that's my backup antenna. So I have my antenna things all situated up in the attic. That's done, and it's just a matter of straightening some of this stuff out, scrapping some of this stuff out. I keep things for a while. And I have a system. If I don't use something within 3 years, it gets scrapped out. Okay, it's that simple. And a lot of the CNC things that I took apart, I realized that the bolts had gone bad. Trying to unlabel shit on the table. When you tighten a Chinese bolt up, the nut slowly rips the threads off. I mean, normal tightening. And I started saving the hardware. And then I said to myself, you know what? Who am I fooling? This is junk. Okay, so I got hardware in boxes that are, I'm never going to use it. Let's face it, I'm 70 years old. And so I was telling you about that guy who had the house all packed up. And right until the day before he died, I was saying to him, I said, maybe it's time that you should think about some of that stuff. Oh, I'm going to get to it. And he died like the next day or so. And I realized my father was like the same way. I'm not like that. I know that I'm going to leave this mess, as little as it is, to somebody else. And I don't think that's fair. Okay? Now, it might be someone they just hire for $15 an hour just to carry this out to a dumpster. But it would be nice to have it organized and leave it to the ham radio operators. And then what they'll do is they'll store it in their cellar. And then when they die, they'll go in a dumpster. I know how this stuff goes. Okay? I've seen it firsthand with people. I cleaned out an entire factory. And the guy I cleaned it out for was like he was going to start the factory back up again. And he was making up all these stories. And he had me clean up each section of the factory like it was operational. And then his boss showed up. And when he went to lunch, that boss pulled me aside. He says, look, he says, I hired you through him, but this is what I want. So what I did was I started bringing everything out to one side of the factory complex. And we could sell it out at we had an area where they could pull cars in. And that's what I did. And every day I went for, I started off by going the furthest distance into the factory and carrying stuff out. And the guy I was working for, he was a pack rat. And why are you doing it that way? And I said, every day I don't walk as far because I'm working everything over to one side of the building. And every morning he'd come in and touch everything. Like if you ever see Monk, he'd walk around and touch all the items, the chairs, the desks. He was nuts, a total wackadoodle. Okay. And when we went to the final clean out of the factory, he started arguing with the guy that owned it, and they sent him on a trip for 2 days. And while he was away, they brought in dumpsters, and they didn't care even if the stuff was good. They just put it in a dumpster. They had a time schedule. I sold the building. I actually sold the building to a guy that came in. And the other guys that were like running interference, when they would show the building to the guy, they would do certain things so he wouldn't buy it, so they could stay in there. They were getting half pay. I've seen a lot of stuff in my lifetime, but I don't want to be one of those people, But this is my area where I keep my vacuum cleaner. You can see my power tool there. There's a drill press right here, and a belt sander there. There's another belt sander over there. This is my tools go along this wall here, and that's why that antenna was in the way for me. And that's a part that's on its way to the landfill. After a while, after I have something for so many years and I don't use it, I'm looking to either give it away, sell it, or throw it out. But that's where we're at, and you can see that hammerlin there down at the bottom. That's restored, and that's the thing I got the hernia on, moving that around. That is super heavy. I believe it's 50 or more pounds. And then the thing above it is it's not a I don't think it's a left. Is it a left yet? Yeah, it's that one model. Everybody says, oh, it's so good. It is a pretty good radio. And then you see that there's 3 NC57s. They're one of my favorite radios. And then, of course, the command radio stuff, they're my favorite, But my most favorite radio is the DX390 because it's been less hardship in my entire life. Okay, I think that's it. All right, that's it.